Well, it says I'm live. I don't have my music. I'm not at my computer. And I don't see the chat. Is anyone on? Let's see here. Let's see. I don't see anyone on yet. There we go. What's up? Nare, I see you there. Wow, everybody. Hold on. Let me get my water. We're having a water ban, whatever it is. Can't drink the water. There was a huge, what do you call it? Water main break. So it's a boil water thing. So, you can't keep up with my live streams. So, anyways, I'm in the control room right now. Why do people keep asking me if I've heard of Greta Van Fleet? I get that probably every single live stream. Every live stream. I've heard of Greta Van Fleet. You like the set change, Rhett? It's a little grainy here because it's dark in here, but yeah, I'm not talking about Greta Van Fleet. They're the new Soda Stereo. That just disappeared. What happened to Soda Stereo? You think I need to use the new lights, Rhett? You think that'll help? What's up, Ray? Rhett, will that help? I'm going to, hold on, let me get the new lights. You think so? All right, let's try this. Just, Rhett, do I need just one? I'm going to see if this, I'm testing out this app again. I want to see if it crashes. Because I don't like doing all my live streams from the computer because it gets really boring. Rhett does know all. He knows about all this stuff. So I have this, my new light here, my new lighting rig that Rhett told me to buy that he has. And it can mix two different kinds of lights. White lights and tungsten, which is natural light. Hold on. I know it looks like the Blair Witch Project, but give me a second here. Okay. So here's the light. Let me show you. And then, let's see here. Rhett, should I use match a color temp to the incandescence? Let's see if this helps at all. How far above me, Rhett? Is that any better? Looks great. I'm going to lower it a bit. Hold on one second. Let me plug my phone back in so it doesn't tip over. This is some Blair Witch stuff, I know. Sorry about all the shaking around. Better, still grainy. Hold on. Let me do this. Is that any better? Slightly grainy, but lots better. Look at that. I don't like this thing being so low. I'm going to hold it like that. This is the budget Amazon brand. App not designed to withstand the band hammer. New camera angle. Not quite as sharp. Red has 3, so I have 2 now, but I don't know if you guys have, oh, who won the Iden sheet? Drew, I think his name is. I'm waiting for him to send me the I'm waiting for him to send me his address so I can send it to him. I'm gonna get my other stand here. Hold on. This is ridiculous that I'm holding this thing up because it's too low. So, okay, here we go. Tonight's topic is deciding tonight's topic. In regards to my Pat Metheny, what is this? Video train. Pat Metheny's guitar at times hurts your ears. He uses this piezo pickup, piezo. How do you say that? Piezo pickup, and it sounds terrible. I think. Well, I can't do a studio tour. I can do a studio tour if I hold on. Now I got to put this up. Piezo. Is that how you say it? Tonight's talk should be your music. Well, it's not going to be. Because I don't have the computer set up to do that. Here, I'm gonna run this around. My computer's in a little disarray because I was working. Okay, sorry. Okay, there we go. I've been working on okay, there we go. No more dizziness. I'm trying to get my computer stuff all backed up. There we go. I'm cool now. So yeah, I'm that's why I'm working on. That's why I'm using the phone right now because it's not working. But I'm all backed up on everything now. Carol came in today. I met her. We went out to lunch with her and Michelle. And what's up, Ron? And she's sick, so she can't come in till Monday. So I'm pretty tired. What's up, Brett? It's been a long couple days here. Long couple days. 80s music that I like. The background makes me look washed out. It's not the background. I'm on my phone. So I look tired too. I do. Brett, you think I'm saying Brett? When I say Brett, you think I'm saying Rhett? I look bushed. That's an old term. Ramon, long-term backup strategies that's actually something that we deal with all the time. We've been over the years, my assistant Ken and I have used a program called ChronoSync. And the thing that I liked about that for backing up music is that ChronoSync only backs up, it's been around for a long time, it only backs up the new things. It's Kronos with a CHR. Anyways, so white hair against blonde wood background is not good. Low contrast. Well, 14 inches of snow just cleared your driveway, Brett. That's getting a nor'easter up there, right? Why don't you just kick my dog while you're at it? Better not kick my dog. Oh, see, if I turn it this way, then you guys will see my platinum record right there. Then it'll look like I'm showing off. Anyways, yeah, we had some pretty serious wind this morning. What's a record exactly? I know. Isn't that pretty funny? What is a record? So I'm How many people can say that? You got it on the floor. I know. How do you like that? It's just leaning up against the wall. I always think it's cheesy having the things up in the studio, honestly. Um, Boy, this is hard to read here. Just sitting, Andre, just sitting on my couch, chilling out near my platinum record. Do I get royalties from that? Okay, that's interesting because I got to ask that. Hold on, I got to get my glasses. Can you guys hold on 1 second? Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, yeah, there we go. So, I got asked this question earlier about royalties. So, I did get royalties from Parmalee, or I do get royalties from Parmalee. Wait, love you, please don't block me. I look like I've been hitting the pipe. I don't know what that means, but I don't do any drugs, so. This is the back of the control room, yes. This is the back wall. See? There you go. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Ozzy able to pay $10 for a download of that special What Makes the Sun Great live stream. It was recorded. I can't sell it. That's the thing. I can't sell it. Okay, so can you see a close-up of the record? Yeah, I think. Hold on. Oh, let's see here. I don't know if you can see it here. It's the band Shinedown. Is it heavy? It's not light. Well, it's not heavy. It's probably 2 pounds, 3 pounds. Just awkward to pick up. So, congrats. It was 14 years ago. What's included in that thing? There's a cassette in it. That's how old it is. There's a cassette, a CD, and an LP. As a producer and a songwriter, actually, but I mean, the thing is for producer. It sold almost 2 million records. It was my first platinum record. That's a gold record there. I have the platinum one in the other room. Why isn't it on my wall? Because I don't care if it's on my wall. The LP would not play. No. Do I have a cassette player? Yes, and I use it still. So this is my favorite room. Guess why? I don't know. It's cheesy. What's the platinum for? So it's band Shinedown. I did their first record that was called Leave a Whisper. They actually just released a video for a new single today for their, I don't know, 6th record or something like that. They're on Atlantic Records. None of the cassettes play, none of the records play. They're all the same record. What projects am I working on now? I don't work on any projects except for production. Except for my YouTube channel. What's up, Martin? How much would that thing sell for on eBay? I don't know. My reel-to-reel's over in the other side of the room. Magoo says, do I sometimes go to the control room to crank music and blow off steam? No. No. No, I don't come in the control room very often anymore. I used to spend 14 hours a day in here, in this room. 14 hours a day. Insane. Really. These questions. Just watch the Iden videos. Do I have any underappreciated? Hold on. Underappreciated videos that you'd recommend people watch? I have a recommended video playlist, I think, of my channel that I think people should watch. All of them. Thomas is right. Do I ever get invited to an awards show? I've been invited. The only awards thing I ever went to was the BMI Awards in Nashville in 2014. I won 2 Dove Awards, which are like Christian Grammys. One of them was here in Atlanta. I didn't go to that. We won Album of the Year for Need to Breathe. I won it for Need to Breathe twice. Cole Swindell, Thomas Rhett, all these big country stars. There's 12 of us on stage, all first-time BMI award winners. What's up, Stratcat? The Christian music industry is really odd. You know, I know a few people in the Christian music industry. I did back in the day. Dylan video got you there. Who's that? Thomas? What Dylan video? Did you just watch a Dylan video and you got to hear? Is that right, Thomas? Wait, so Perfect Pitch back in the summer. So Michelle and Carol were here today. They both have Perfect Pitch. So I played that Rage Against the Machine first chord. What's up, Tom? Back in the 90s, pretty cool Christian music. I have some friends that were into that. Yes, Dylan does play Roblox. So I played for Michelle and Carol. I said, what chord is that? I played the first chord of the Rage. They go, D major. Then Dylan came down later to ask me a question. I said, Dylan, hang on a second. Let me play a chord. What chord is this? He goes, D major. Why? Just checking. I said, there's people on that were arguing with me on my video. It's telling me it's not a D major chord. And Dylan goes, rolls his eyes and walks out. Carol's first day. Carol is sick. I think the trip down here made her sick. She's not going to start till Monday now. So I'll have way more energy next week. You're going to see the old Rick back again, like I was with when Michelle was here every day. Because Michelle's been here now in 3 weeks or something. I'm working on my own. It is a wear out. Anyways, Tom, you checking out? I saw you comment on one of the D major things. So I have a new thing of where I paste these pictures in the comment thing where I put the picture of Tom Morello playing a D major chord from a live version of that, playing on his Telecaster, playing the opening of Killing in the Name. And I did that to troll the people. You like, I did that. I knew you'd appreciate it. I just thought that was great. There he is, just playing it right there. Just D major chord. The old, cowboy chords. Anyways, it's funny how you cannot hear the third. Wait, it's funny how you cannot hear the third. They think it's just a D power chord or D minor. It's unbelievable. They think it's D minor. Great. Wait, it's great people are willing to challenge me. They're always wrong. I love that, though. They're convinced it's minor. It's unbelievable. Half of them are convinced it's minor. The other ones are saying there's no third in the chord. It is so loud, the third. It's ridiculous. I just laugh. I bust on these people so hard. So I got an email a couple hours ago. Validation is underrated. Why they all need ear training. Did you see, Tom, some of the comments I made, though? Some of the other ones? I was like, yo, bro, you're deaf. You should seriously go get a hearing test. And somebody says, it's a D sus 2. It's like, there's no E in that chord. That was classic. I was having so much fun today in that thread with that. I mean, come on, it's a freaking D major chord. And somebody was, Tom, you appreciate that. I knew you would. I knew you would. Anyways, one guy said, Adam Neely says that if you play with distortion, a power chord or whatever, that you'll hear the third. I'm like, yeah. Well, Rick Beato says that that's a D major chord. That was one of my D chord fake news. Exactly. You know, it's one of these things. They're so serious exactly about what they believe. They can't use their ears. I saw, you know, it's like, yo. Yeah, so I played the chord, I just looped it. Boom, 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 D major. I mean, it's like, come on. Luckily, there were people in the stream that actually couldn't, or that could hear it. Then somebody said in one of the comments that I loved, it says, you know, he probably doesn't know all this stuff. I'm sure he does research before every video. And what are you going to believe, me or your own ears? Exactly. So I told the guy, or whoever it was, that he's thinking that I don't know these songs, like these Rage Against the Machine songs and stuff, right? Every single song that I've done these shows on, I taught. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but I lived in Atlanta from 1994, the end of '94. It's in my story where I talk about rediscovering rock, I think it was, and I moved down here to start a band, a rock band, and how much F-sharp research did I do exactly, Brett? I mean, it's only the first chord that you learn on guitar, pretty much, too, right? Like you can't recognize that. So I spent 5 years, taught 50 students a week here. So from 94 to 99 till my band got signed. Think about the time period of that. Every single grunge song, every song during that time period. I mean, I had students that learned every single Pearl Jam song off 10 in verses. I'd have students that would learn all of Super Unknown, all of Nirvana, Nevermind, Incesticide, In Utero. I know every single song, you know, on Soundgarden. I knew every song from Bad Motorfinger. I knew every song from Louder Than Love. I knew every song from Super Unknown. I knew every song from you know, I would teach Burden in My Hand, all those Soundgarden songs. I teach every Temple of the Dog song. Then I would teach, I mean, it'd be 50 students a week. And you know, this is why I know all this stuff. Well, then I produced for 14 hours a day. And then people are like, say to me, oh, you can't, oh, it's not a D major chord, it's a power chord. Because you know why? Because they buy tab books that are wrong. It was like when I did the Frampton solo, I looked at the Hal Leonard, the Hal Leonard book that has this Peter Frampton solo for Do You Feel Like We Do, and it's wrong. It's got this one lick that's not even close. It has about 6 extra notes in it. And I'm laughing. I'm reading it, and I say, well, this is Frampton's never played a lick like that, and that's certainly not in it. And Hell Enters for first years, exactly. Anyways, so that was funny, but that kind of led into my thing about talking about ear training. That you should be able to hear these things, but it takes a long time, honestly, to it takes a long time to recognize how to hear things. My first year, I'll tell this story. This is this was kind of my when I started producing full time in '99. There's a producer friend of mine named Billy Hume, or engineer friend. He's a producer now. That my band went into his basement studio, that's about 5 miles from here, to record some of our billionaire demos before we made our record. We went in 2 days and recorded 10 songs. So I knew Billy from that, and when I first started producing, I called him because he's the only engineer that I knew in town, and I didn't know how to engineer. So I went over to Billy's studio and I started working on projects, one after another, after another, after another. Hold on. What is this here? Hold on. Bye-bye. Anyways, so Billy would get frustrated because I didn't know any terms for anything. So I would have to say stuff like, the kick drum needs to be puffier. And he'd say, what does that mean? What's puffy? I said, it just needs to be puffier. It needs to have more. And he'd look at me like I was crazy. And I'd say, no, or I'd say, yeah, I'm just, it seems like it's kind of cloudy there. I didn't even know terms to use. I didn't even have any terms. I just made up my own terms. I didn't know about EQ. I didn't know anything. I just knew what I liked the sound of. Totally by ear. That doesn't sound good. Oh, that's not biting enough, that guitar part. And I would play him examples of records. So it could be EQ, Roberta. It could be mic placement. It could be the instrument. There's so many aspects of it. So finally, Billy got fed up with me. After a year and a half of working from 10:30 a.m., we would work till 2 in the morning every night. And I wasn't married at the time or anything, and we'd just work and work and work and work. Then I'd go out and eat dinner. We'd work until 1 in the morning, and I would go out and eat dinner. I'd go out to a bar and eat dinner at 1 in the morning to 1:30 in the morning. I'd go meet my friends. It was crazy. I literally would go in the studio at 10:30 in the morning, work till 1, and then go out and eat dinner at some bar, eat bar food, meet my friends, hang out till 4 in the morning, go home and sleep, and get back up and be over at Billy's at 10:30 in the morning for a year and a half straight, 6 days a week. And I would just constantly bring in, that was a long 2 years. Billy finally got fed up, and he said, I'm going out of town. Here's the Pro Tools manual. I want you to come in and use the studio, and I want you to learn Pro Tools so you can do it on your own. I can't do this anymore. I said, what? What? He goes, yeah, I'm going to be gone. So this project we were working on, this band Left Front Tire, one of the first bands I did, I sat in Billy's control room for 48 hours straight, no sleeping. And I read the Pro Tools manual, and I put all the songs in one session, and I tried to mix song after song, not realizing that you can't mix every song in the same session. And it was just a complete disaster. And I couldn't recall anything, but I sure learned a lot in that time. It was amazing. So I Social icon. Joe, you got it. Where's Billy now? Billy's still producing. So Billy, so in the upstairs of his studio at the time, I've told this story before, but all these rappers were renting his upstairs, where he had a Digio One. Little John, I mean, all these huge people that became, platinum selling rappers were using his little B room. And so so Billy basically pushed me out into the deep end, and I had to go to another studio and start working on my own. And he gave me the Yin Yang Twins. They were all over at his place. David Banner, everybody. I used to see those guys every day. They'd have different guys would come in, and we would hang out and talk about stuff. They'd come down to the studio. I'd be working with bands. They would come down and hang out all the time. All the time. Little John, oh yeah, he'd be there every day. Oh, he was such an incredibly nice guy. I remember he drove. He had a BMW station wagon. Kids, married. Totally not the guy that you see with the teeth. That was he just put the teeth in. He wouldn't have them in during the thing. That was just like a overlay thing, right? His grill, and he was just incredibly nice guy. Very funny. Of course, it's all an act. David Banner, no, David Banner, the rapper. David Banner would sleep in his car. He drove from Mississippi, lived with his mom. Drove from Mississippi to Billy's studio and would stay sleep in his car for the week in Billy's driveway. David Banhammer, right? So, anyways, not that David Banner, Double K, wise guy. Renzo, don't know much about rappers. That was a great time for rap in Atlanta, crunk. Anyways, so I did my first session at Tree Sound, the studio here in town. And Billy said, he goes, go set up, mic up the drums. I'll come up there and check to make sure that it's good. So I called Billy up. I said, I got the drums mic'd up. So Billy drives over to Tree. He looks at it. He listens. He says, everything's in phase. It's great. You got this. Now, the console I was using in the C room there was my friend Dave Cobb, who is won a Grammy he produced Chris Stapleton's record. He produced Jason Isbell. He was in the first band I ever produced, Dave Cobb. He was the guitar player. Dave had a Neve console that I worked on all the time. So, because he was playing in bands still. He wasn't producing or anything. So that's when I started working on my own. And I met Ken right after that in 2000. So, watch out, Norma. What happened? Did Norma say something here? Missed all that. So Ken became my assistant within the first week I was working there. And he's been with me for 18 years now. Although we're not doing anything anymore since I stopped producing, which is really sad, because Ken I really depended on tremendously. I still talk to him all the time, but it's sad that we're not working on any project. Well, it's not sad because I don't want to work on any projects, but that was a really fun time. Learning how to do this kind of stuff was really fun. So I had a Neve console that 8068 was the one with the 1073s. 8078, is that the one? It had I don't know how many 16 channels of 1073s. I had some 2254 compressors in it. It was that was it. Seems oh, Magoo, seems like I learned more or less by doing it, not by books. I learned from asking questions. I don't think it was an 8803, Joe. I'm not sure. I can't remember what console it was. But he had, it was a killer console. Man. What can you say? 1073s. I spent 40 hours with the manual and I learned it. Rick, do I need to use a noise generator? I've used noise generators, like white noise generators. Would be great for Joe Rogan's and my channels. Joe is too potty mouth. Does Joe swear a lot? I don't know, Joe. I mean, I know who Joe is, but wait, 8808? I can't remember. I thought it was 8068. Maybe not, or 8078. I gotta say, dude, what you're doing is amazing. It's like hanging out with a total pro and hearing all the stories. 8078, I think is what it was, Joe. Yeah. If you got on, you'd get 3 hours. So I'm interviewing on Friday Misha Mansour. For those of you that know the Gent movement, who's the guitar player from Periphery. If any of you have heard of Periphery, I'm interviewing Misha, which I think will be incredibly interesting because he is a, he's kind of a, he's like a Renaissance guy when it comes to how to make a living in the current music business. I'm going to talk to him a lot about that. So he's got his band Periphery, which is probably one of the biggest gent or prog metal bands out there, but he also has his own pickups. He's got his own signature amp. He's got his own pedal company. He and the drummer from Periphery have a sample pack for their samples. He's really getting out there and doing all the stuff that I talk about as far as marketing himself and creating all these different income streams, which I think is really incredibly smart. What's the worst gent joke you ever had? I'll ask him that. The drummer's Matt Halpern. That's right. He's a very smart guy. A very smart guy. Whatever happened to Mars Volta? I'm not sure what happened to Mars Volta. I mean, I was a huge At the Drive-In fan. Peter Smart would not be here tonight because Peter is in England, so he'd be asleep right now. Have I heard of Polyphia? Yes. Ars Volta. Let's see here. You're in England, Robert? What time is it there? UK mates are sleeping. No more Volta. 341. Good God. Did I ever meet David Gilmour? No. But I'll tell you this, everyone. This is really cool. Because the channel is doing so well, it is opening up the possibility of me interviewing a lot more people. Carol, I found out, is friends with Jacob Collier, for example, my new assistant. People like Hans Zimmer. My friend Jeff told me when I got to 100,000 subscribers, he could get me Hans Zimmer. And I never got back to him. But I will get back to him. Eddie Vedder, people like that. This is Tony Visconti for sure. I could interview any of the guys from Tool, I bet, at this point. So, so this is one of the great things about what is going on with the channel. The people that have complained about the people that have complained about how my content, whatever, because I hadn't done any of my Rick videos in the past few weeks. I would love to get Brian Eno. So I got to say this. Okay, U2 is one of my favorite bands of all time. I don't listen to U2 anymore. The I feel like they probably should have stopped making records right after they did the record How to Build an Atomic Bomb or whatever it was where they had Zooropa on it. I love Achtung Baby. I love all the first records. I love War, October, Under a Blood Red Sky, Wide Awake in America, Rattle and Hum, Joshua Tree. I don't think Bono's too full of himself. I think he's an incredibly insightful guy. And he's done a lot of good and donated to a lot of causes. How to Build an Atomic Bomb, yeah. But Joshua Tree is a phenomenal record, and Bono is one of the greatest melody writers in rock music ever, and one of the greatest singers. He's definitely one of the greatest melody writers. As a matter of fact, he has incredibly sophisticated melodies and does not repeat himself. And Edge makes up and plays incredibly accurate guitar parts that changed the way that people played forever. Daniel Lanois is one of the greatest producers, and Brian Eno. I mean, they have the perfect combination of everyone there. So, getting back to this thing about having Alex Lifeson, yes. I mean, all these things can happen now. Once I get up to U2 is not overrated, Mark Bundy. Sorry, hate to tell you. They are not overrated. I mean, you can think they're overrated, but I don't think they're overrated. I think you're wrong. But what do I know? A lot. Subjective. It's not subjective. I think they're great. I don't care what you think. Anyways, I'm just busting your chops. Come on, man. Don't get mad. Anyways, Edge and Bono are not worried. They don't care. U2 is great for so many reasons. Bono is one of the... I've seen U2 play many times. Bono is one of the greatest live singers ever. Every time that I saw Bono sing, you could have put his takes on a record. And this is with floor monitors, everything. He has an incredibly good sense of pitch, in addition to having an incredibly good sense of melody. So he didn't start smoking until later. He didn't start smoking, honestly, until Achtung Baby, until he was 30. But the early U2 records, the vocal performances from Bono's voice started coming into its own on War. Oh, I'm a U2 expert. I don't want to say this or anything. You guys have never, ever heard me talk about... I've never, ever talked about U2 on any live stream. Has anyone heard me talk about U2 ever? Anyone? No. You've never heard me mention U2. Never, right? Okay, I am a massively big U2 fan. For our honeymoon, my wife and I went to see U2 and Pearl Jam play in Hawaii. In 2006. Pearl Jam was opening for Nirvana. And that was unbelievable at Aloha Stadium. So I saw U2 play on the Achtung Baby tour. Bono said music nowadays got too girly. He's right. Anyways, so I saw them play. And on the Achtung Baby tour at Veterans Stadium in Philly before it was taken down. And it was one of the greatest live shows I ever saw, and probably the best singing I ever saw live. And I saw the Police play a number of times. I saw all these groups play. I saw Aerosmith in the 70s. I saw Peter Frampton in the 70s. I've seen tons of, so many bands. Bono, one of the greatest melody writers, lyricists, and singers. Every single take that Bono did in that concert could have easily was as good or better than as good as any record that he did. So there's my thing about U2. Now, massive. Am I talking about vocal melody? Yes, I'm talking about vocal melodies. Better than Neil Young? Yes. Well, no, different than Neil Young. He's not better than Neil Young, really. Neil Young has his own thing. Was I a Cream fan? I love Cream. That's kind of the stuff I grew up with. I'm a big Neil Young fan. Neil is so cynical now. That is true. Pat Martini? You mean Pat Martino? Oh, Magoo? Steve Perry was a great singer live, but not close to being as good as Bono. Steve Perry was a great singer, though. But live, he could sing pretty well live. I saw Steve Perry live. Steve Walsh. You talking Steve Walsh from Kansas, right, Tom? He had a great killer voice. You saw Pink Floyd at Nassau Coliseum. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, from Kansas. Neil Young, bad singer, but no, Neil Young was a great singer. He just had a weird voice. He's one of those weird voice, you know. You saw that ticket to the Pink Floyd thing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Do I have Pink Floyd multi-tracks? I heard that Pink Floyd are blockers. I heard that on here. Have I tried the UAD Plexi emulation? I have. How does it stack up? It's okay. I'd rather use my Plexi. Any modern U2 records since the Joshua Tree? Yeah, Rattle and Hum, Achtung Baby, Zooropa. Those were great records. Will I break down some STP songs? Yes. I almost did it on this one. So I called Rhett. Whenever it was, I put up Rage yesterday. I called Rhett yesterday and I said, so should I do Rage Against the Machine or Tool today? That's what I said. And he's like, oh, that's a tough one. He said, I don't know. He goes, I think I'd do Rage Against the Machine. I'd save Tool. And I said, all right, I'll do Rage. Anyways, 9 Inch Nails. Yes, I have tons of 9 Inch Nails. I will do it. I will do 9 Inch Nails. Anyways, so getting back to this, um, and Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. Can I do things on why some songs suck? No, because that's Adam's thing. Um, I saw Rage open for you too as well. Jeff Buckley, I saw many times in New York in 1994 when I lived one block from Chenet, the club he used to play all the time that held 20 people. Um, so wait, I keep getting interrupted here, but I keep interrupting myself. And those bands are not shoulders ahead of you two, Mark. Sorry. Even if you asked Eddie Vedder if he's shoulders ahead of Bono, he would say no. I know because I saw Eddie Vedder open for Bono and sing with Bono. So, but you can think that. That's fine. Brett, you think a lot of people pigeonhole me? Me? But I have many interests in talk about all of them. Thank you. I appreciate that. Eddie Vedder didn't go to Chris Cornell's funeral. Who can? How? Anyways, you think that Eddie Vedder didn't go to Chris Cornell's funeral because he didn't like Chris Cornell? There's one of his best friends. Um, so I have very large tastes in music. I mean, what are the things that really what are the things that I get most excited about? Well, you guys know what I get most excited about. But I love rock music. I love classical music. I love jazz, you know? Um, Iden. There you go. Um, the thing is that you can't be afraid to have an opinion. I think that I think that um, what do you guys think? Tom, you've educated me on some music you not have listened to. Do you guys think do you guys like that I have strong opinions? I mean, I just, you know, I have very strong opinions on music. And I don't care what other people think. That's not true. I mean, I care what other people think, obviously. But I have no problem voicing my opinion. But I won't let people just discount things because because they don't understand them, and um, and discount things just out of hand because they don't like a certain genre of music. To discount rap or hip hop because they don't like it, or they only like certain types of metal, or because I uh, somebody's like, you're not a Rage fan because of blah blah blah. You know, it's ridiculous, these things. Um, why does what matter to me much? Why does it matter? Why does that matter to you so much? Why does it matter? I don't like people just discount just making blanket statements about genres of music because I think it's idiotic. I'm scrolling on the phone. That's what I'm doing when I do that. Sorry. Um, I don't like the fact that people I don't like the fact that people discount jazz because of all the elevator jazz, the horrendous stuff like Kenny G, and they think that that's jazz. I'm sorry, you know. I mean, Kenny G, probably a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Um, I don't like people commenting on stuff they don't know about. And why did why is this, you know, why don't you do a thing like, why does this song suck? Because I don't want to talk about why the negative things about music. I want to talk about the positive things about them. Because I think that's the most important, really. I think that Kenny G was a great player early on when he played with Lorber. It wasn't until he you know, did all this really cheesy music that he sold tons of records from, that you know. But it wasn't just him. It's the music stuff when you know, the all the music versions that these jazz players would go in, and then people thought that that's what jazz was. And I have no problem with people selling out, because I don't ever believe that there's such a thing as selling out. Selling out, you can't intentionally sell out. You never know what's going to be popular. But so the whole idea that you can sell out is absurd, because everything is luck to a certain degree. Selling out every show. Now, some people, like George Benson, I think, left, never really put his best playing on a record. Well, I mean, he did some amazing playing on records, but he was, I think it was under-recorded, Benson, as far as good as he's such a phenomenal player, was such a phenomenal player, that I feel like his contribution, yeah, his live bootlegs are unbelievable. Brett, so Aerosmith, check this out. This is interesting. You said letting ringers co-write their songs. They were really, I know this because I worked with Desmond Child. The Diane Warren thing. Well, I shouldn't talk out of school. I met Diane Warren back then. But Aerosmith didn't want to do that if they didn't have to. They were forced to do that, basically. You enjoy all kinds of music. I don't understand the fascination with you two or the Police. Well, I'm sorry, Mark. I don't think you have any taste, but that's okay. That's just me. Maybe you think you have great taste. I don't think you do. If you don't like the Police, they did so much with so little. The Police didn't do so much with so little. The Police did so much with so much. My God. There's nothing that's as sophisticated as the Police. Pop music. Come on, you're nuts. Give me a break. Put on any of those songs from Synchronicity. Early Police, late Police, it's all good. Incredible. Most sophisticated pop songwriting there was, pretty much. I mean, Jesus, except for Joni Mitchell, maybe, that had sophisticated lyrics and music, too. If you don't like the Police, you don't have any taste. You might not like U2 for whatever reasons, but I don't know. I don't get the Police. You don't like rock, then. You certainly don't like great melodies. Sting wrote great lyrics, and he wrote incredibly great melodies. What do I think of Coldplay? Okay. Coldplay. Oh, God. Coldplay made a phenomenal record. I've mentioned Brush of Blood to the Head. Phenomenal. Incredibly good record that has one of my favorite songs on it, which is called Amsterdam. It's the last song on there. It's got the most beautiful harmony parts. It's got an incredible build to it. It's got great lyrics. God Put a Smile on My Face, Clocks, they're all great songs. The Scientist, all those songs are on that record. Then Chris Martin married Gwyneth Paltrow. And all of a sudden, he could not write a song again. But I have another theory on it. Because I met Chris Robinson, I met him too. Went to dinner with Chris Robinson one time. I'm not name dropping. I did. I think I talked about this with Kevin Shirley at his house. Anyways, so I did this 3-hour radio station thing where Chris Martin took over the radio station here in Atlanta for 3 hours. And I got invited to it. It was me and Chris Martin and my friend Leslie, who was the program director at the station. And she just told him I was a friend of hers and I was a producer. So I got to talk to Chris Martin for 3 hours straight. And how do I remember all the names of people I've met? Because I have a great memory. Anyway, so Chris Robinson is an incredibly self-effacing guy. He could not listen to any of his own music. He hated it. I know Kevin Shirley very well, yes. So I hung out with Chris Martin for 3 hours and talked about music. The only song that he could listen to that he liked was The Scientist. Yes, you've heard that's my story. Caveman, that's right. Kevin Caveman Shirley. So I asked Chris, I said, when do you write? And he told me about X and Y, that he was they were getting ready to release that record. And I was incredibly disappointed in X and Y. I didn't like any of the, honestly, I didn't really like any of the songs on it. I thought it sounded terrible. They stopped working with their producer, who did the second record. Please help me, Joe. Who was the producer on the second record? Because he mixed it as well. Please, somebody help me. Strat-Cat, you're welcome. Help me with the Ken Nelson. Thank you. Okay, Ken Nelson produced the first two records, I think. He definitely produced that record and mixed it. And Ken Nelson was what made radio or Coldplay. He had to have, because that was their best material that they ever did. Elliot, what's up? So Chris Martin told me that he wrote every day for 2 hours first thing in the morning. But this is my theory. So I really disliked X and Y, and I disliked every Coldplay record after the second record. And then I read about 7 years ago or so that Chris Martin developed tinnitus really bad. And he'd had it for 10 years. It coincided with the X and Y record. And I thought that it's possible, because he was really protective of his hearing then, but it bothered him enough that he did public service announcements about tinnitus. And I always thought that it's possible that he I don't know, that it drove him nuts. And I thought that it affected his writing. I really do. Oh, Magoo, you don't get tinnitus bad. You just have it. and some days are worse than others. So that's my thing on Chris Martin. Plus, I think that Chris Martin married someone famous that was incredibly rich, who uh, who they lived this lifestyle where he could never write any good lyrics anymore, because he was never hungry again. A lot of bands like the Beatles got incredibly wealthy and were able to write incredible songs still. Um, but I think it really affected. I really think it affected him. I think there's two things. He got married to somebody famous. Sting too. Yeah, to a certain degree. They start living these lives. Um, but I think that I'm wondering if Chris Martin, if his tinnitus affected his writing at all. But comfort definitely takes the edge off. There's no question about that. I agree with that. Eddie Vedder after Vitology, totally agree. To me, Vitology, half the record was phenomenal. The other half of the record was not, because they dropped their drummer, Dave Aberuzzi, in the middle of that. And um, and to me, he was a really, really great part of Pearl Jam. I think that they didn't realize how good he was. But the tunes on Verses or on Vitology that are great. Did you say Vitology? Yeah, Vitology. Nothing Man was a great song. Um, oh, geez. There was about, there's down, 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 that C to F sharp song. He does a Dorian melody on it. It was great. Was it Corduroy? No, I'm thinking of oh geez. What was that tune? It's the first song on that. Um I can't remember now. Immortality was a killer song. I love that song on there. Last Exit, that was it. Thank you. Last Exit. Great. Um Having a senior moment. Whiskey does not fix tinnitus. Brett, you would know, and I would know. Oh, Magoo, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. He was deaf way before then. He started going deaf in 1796. He was pretty deaf by 1816. 1816. Yeah, but he was angry. Um, any more Pearl Jam stories? I love Pearl Jam. Um, the first two records, half of the third record. I heard I heard from Nick Didia the other day that I don't know if I mentioned this last night or not, but he wrote to me, who engineered all those Pearl Jam records. He engineered Versus, Vitology. He was Brendan O'Brien's engineer. Nick wrote to me. He lives in Australia now, but he was from Atlanta, and loved he loves my channel. He said, and um, and I tried to get him on here, but he won't come on. I wanted to interview him about all that. Elliot, you think Beato was angry because he had to climb all those steps to get the top floor of his apartment? And that would make you angry. I mean, can you imagine Beethoven, that he could only hear these things within his head? That's it. And come on, this whole thing is about actually enjoying music and listening to it. Um, when I developed tinnitus back in 2012, I thought that I would never be able to enjoy music again. Um, and thank God that mine is intermittent. but it's ringing right now. And then I knew that Beethoven had tinnitus, but I didn't know what it sounded like. I cannot imagine being deaf and having tinnitus. Um, how do I recover from tinnitus? You never recover from tinnitus. Um, I just happen to have days where it goes away completely. I don't know why, but when it's loud, it's incredibly loud. Right now, it's incredibly loud. Um, it it's probably about 80 dB right now, I'd say. Beethoven did know how important his work was. My thumb is okay. Um, you have two tinnitus tones. That's terrible. 80 dB. Oh yeah, it's bad. Um, oh, when I first developed it, it was 120 dB. Couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear cymbals. I couldn't hear anything. And for the first 3 weeks, every time that I would play in the top note of the piano, it just sounded. It sounded like every note was distortion. Every high note of distortion. Um, yeah. Then I had a clogged eustachian tube at the time. Um, and then that went away, and then the distortion part went away. The tinnitus stayed, and then became intermittent. So I probably have uh, maybe I'm exaggerating, 120 dB. It's almost like the only sound I can hear is the ringing. I probably have 4 days a week where it's um, I have 4 days a week where I have absolute silence, where I plug my ears and I hear nothing. And then the other days, I have 80 dB of ringing, like I have right now. Just, and I just ignore it. Do I do something to alleviate it? I go to sleep. That's it. Yeah. I I um I I sleep normally with it. It started in 2012 on July 22nd on 2012. Funny, I remember the day. Um, Mine is about 9 point. It's 9.6 in one ear and 9.4 in the other ear. It's just a high tone. It's like a sine wave. Um, yeah. Was there a catalyst? There was a catalyst. The catalyst was that I was taking antibiotics at the time, and I always took great care of my ears. I always wear earplugs. I don't turn things up loud. Um, and um, um, sounds like brake squealing. Yeah, it's kind of that. Um, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Antibiotics did it. I was taking a Z pack. Just woke up one day. I didn't know what was going on. It freaked me out. I'll never forget it. Um, anyways, is compensating for frequencies you aren't hearing? Is it compensating for frequencies you aren't hearing? No, no. See, now the tinnitus when I first got it was incredibly loud, and then it went down in volume to where it's that's very high, Brett. 12.5K. That's really high. Um, but the days that I don't have it, I totally forget that I even have it. I just went the last 2 days. I didn't have it. Dead silent. Plug my ears if I think about it, and nothing. Um, it's from listening to the Police and you too while cruising Atlanta. That's pretty good, Mark. It probably is. It's probably from Stuart Copeland's hi hat. That's funny. Pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go. Man, I stayed on way longer than I was going. I'm gonna go on here for 5 minutes. Has it affected my hearing? No, it hasn't affected my hearing. My hearing is incredibly good. When I had my hearing tested, my hearing was very good. Okay, I'm gonna get some rest. You guys are awesome. Stay away from the symbols. They'll kill you. I'll see you. Good night.